Morning, everybody. It's so good to see you and hear all of you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
going to tell you about how Ntataise Lowveld started. Margaret Solomon started Ntataise Lowveld in 1986 after she'd met with Jane to ask her about her preschool ideas. And then Kirby joined her in 87 to do the admin work. They had 2 trainers then. And Kirby remembers fiery engagements between Margaret and Jane now, as both of them could give as good as they got. At one stage, apparently, Margaret apologized to Jane for jumping on her. And Jane, as cool as a cucumber, replied, "I would have been very disappointed if you hadn't." It was mostly farm creches, but community preschools were appearing, and Margaret and Tony Ponting established a community preschool near Nelspruit. And then in 2000, Margaret asked me, who knew nothing whatever about ECD, to help her with reports and letter writing for Ntataise Lowveld. By this time, they'd expanded to 3 trainers, and one of them was Mapule Mabandla, who had grown up on the Solomon's farm at Croc Valley, and she'd done a teacher's training and had by this time been working with Margaret for a few years. The focus then became more and more on communities and less on farms, and the trainers had all been to Ntataise Viljoen's Kroon for training then. They presented the courses and visited the creches and the farm schools and traveled enormous distances, which they still do today, I must say. I went with them sometimes and remember 2 amazing practitioners, one far on the Swaziland-Mozambique border, who had got herself in touch with somebody in South Africa who was in contact with overseas donors, and they provided her with money to build a fantastic school, furnish it, equip it, and she was doing amazing stuff right then down there in the rural areas. The other was Nera Nelspruit, who had turned her entire RDP house into a preschool. She ate and slept in the playroom, and she made amazing and innovative equipment for the preschool. She was another amazing woman. Then things changed dramatically, and we had to fall in line with it, with regulations that become more formal. And without the Ntataise network and Ntataise itself, we would have collapsed. Margaret, who was easily wound up and couldn't or wouldn't accept that we had to move forward, she and I had the most spectacular, I suppose you'd call them discussions. Jane and anyone who saw Margaret's rages will understand how these went, but I didn't get the apologies, I must say. Anyway, Margaret then retired and Barbara Kenyon took over, and she moved us forward from working at home to a central office, which brought us into a much more professional arrangement, and it was the best thing that ever could have happened. But Margaret, of course, protested loudly at this too. She was followed by Mapule as director, and after her most terrible and distressing death, Tsidi gathered up the pieces, smoothed the rough edges, and now with 20 staff, the Lowveld's going ahead full steam, still reliant on and supported by Ntataise and the network. And I want to say, from my own point of view, I am so grateful to Margaret Solomon for introducing me to Ntataise and to ECD. It's provided me with a passion I never knew I had, and I met dedicated and knowledgeable and generous people, Jane, directors, staff, practitioners, learners, everyone. And for this, I am truly thankful. To you all, thank you.